we still will provide more foreign aid, more humanitarian support than the next 10 countries combined, than the entire OECD, and far more than China.
On May 20th, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told Congress that China lacks both the capacity and the will to replace the U.S. in global humanitarian development work.
And China doesn't do humanitarian aid. China does predatory lending. That's what Belt and Road Initiative is.
He described China's Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, as predatory lending and accused Beijing of offering debt traps, not assistance. The term debt trap diplomacy first appeared in the 2017 report from an Indian think tank. Since then, it has been widely adopted in Western policy circles and media without any solid evidence. But the numbers tell a different story. China is not the world's biggest lender, according to a 2023 study from Johns Hopkins University. Among the 46 countries that joined the World Bank and IMF's debt service suspension initiative, Chinese creditors held 30% of total claims but accounted for 63% of suspended payments. Take Africa as an example. World Bank data shows that of the $696 billion in external debt of 49 African governments, about 3/4 is owed to multilateral institutions and non-Chinese private creditors. As a bilateral lender, China has accounted for 16% of global debt relief, surpassing the US and the World Bank. Its average debt reduction is double that of the G7 countries. Rubio's comments also ignored shifts in US policy. In a speech in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire, Troy Fitrell, senior bureau official and US ambassador to Guinea, said trade, not aid, is now the foundation of US engagement on the continent.
Our strategy is simple, but it's ambitious. Make commercial diplomacy a core focus of our diplomatic engagement.
Under the Trump administration, the U.S. cut funding for global aid programs, reduced the role of U.S. aid, and imposed the tariffs that threaten trade agreements with dozens of African nations. Public health experts warn that these cuts could jeopardize programs like HIV treatment in South Africa.
Quite a systemic shock, not just to the AIDS response, as we will hear from others, probably to the development and the multilateral system overall.
BRI, proposed by China in 2013, focuses on greater connectivity and solutions to global development challenges. According to the World Bank, BRI projects could lift 7.6 million people out of extreme poverty and raise global trade by 1.7% to 6.2% by 2030. BRI funding includes more than just loans. It supports roads, railways, and renewable energy. In Kenya, the Grace Solar Power Plant powers 70,000 homes. In Laos, the China-Laos Railway connects remote communities with trade hubs. The BRI differs from traditional Western aid. Instead of donor-recipient model, it offers long-term cooperation through grants, interest-free loans, and support for schools, hospitals, and disaster recovery. A report from Boston University's Global Development Policy Center describes Chinese lending as patient capital, referring to long-term financing aimed at improving infrastructure and trade. Dismissing China's contributions ignores on-the-ground realities. Schools built, lights turned on, and lives saved. Facts, not slogans, should drive global development conversations.